Welcome to Weekly True Crime News Mama, where every week we dive into the latest true crime stories, missing persons cases, and headline updates from across the country and the world. I'm your host, Patty, a working mom who breaks down the facts so you don't have to dig for them. Grab your coffee and let's get into this week's cases. First up, we have an Ohio woman, age 23, allegedly killed by her friend during a game of Russian roulette. This next story comes out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's one that has both investigators and the community shaking their heads. What started out as a casual evening between friends ended in tragedy when 23-year-old Rachel Counts lost her life during what authorities believe was a reckless and deadly game. According to police, the incident took place on October 5th inside a home in northern Cincinnati. Rachel and her friend, Omarion Horn, also 23, were reportedly hanging out playing cards and spending time together, but at some point that night, prosecutors allege the tone of the evening changed dramatically. In court, officials said Horn pulled out a gun and told Rachel he wanted to play Russian roulette, a dangerous game where a single bullet is loaded into a revolver and the trigger is pulled in turns. Prosecutors say Horn removed all but one bullet, placed the gun to his own head, and pulled the trigger. Nothing happened, but when he pointed the gun toward Rachel and pulled the trigger again, it fired. The bullet struck Rachel in the chest. Emergency responders were called immediately, but despite their best efforts, Rachel was pronounced dead at the scene. Police later charged Horn with felony murder, felonious assault, and reckless homicide. During his first court appearance, local outlets reported that Horn appeared visibly emotional, shaking and crying as prosecutors described what they believe happened that night. His defense attorney told the court that Horn had no prior criminal record and asked for leniency when setting his bond, but the judge wasn't moved. Hamilton County Judge William Mallory set bond at $1 million, calling the situation, quote, a tragedy, and adding that it's heartbreaking when, quote, a firearm is treated like a toy, end quote. Prosecutors have confirmed that if convicted, Horn could face life in prison. He's due to appear before a grand jury later in the month, where more evidence is expected to be presented. Rachel's death has left her loved ones and the community devastated. A young woman gone far too soon over what authorities say was a senseless and avoidable act. We will continue to monitor this story for you, and we will continue to bring you updates as we receive them. Up next, we have an Indiana man who has denied killing his mother and called her, quote, the sweetest person. However, then a spinal cord was found in his yard. This next case comes to us out of Indiana, and it is deeply disturbing. A story that began as a missing persons report and ended with the horrifying discovery of human remains in a family's backyard. Police say 20-year-old Nicholas Yates is now facing a murder charge after investigators uncovered what they believe are the remains of his missing mother, Cheryl Yates, in a burn pit behind their family home in rural Vermilion County. According to Indiana State Police, the case began on Sunday, October 5th, when Nicholas contacted authorities to report his mother missing. From the start, something about his story didn't quite add up. In several interviews, investigators say his version of events kept changing. Details weren't lining up, and parts of his story contradicted earlier statements. When officers asked Nicholas if anyone would ever want to harm his mother, he reportedly replied, quote, no, she was the sweetest person, end quote. But detectives soon noticed glaring inconsistencies. He claimed that he'd been trying to call his mother since October 3rd, yet also said he had left her phone at home. When pressed further, Nicholas allegedly admitted that he had sold her phone because he, quote, needed the money, end quote. That's when investigators decided to take a closer look around the property. What they found was chilling. In the backyard, a small burn pit was still smoldering. Among the ashes was what looked like the human bones, and according to the probable cause affidavit, one deputy believed a human spinal cord was visible among the remains. Nearby, detectives also found Cheryl's pill organizer, the last doses taken on the night of October 3rd, which matched the timeline Nicholas had mentioned. When confronted with the evidence, Nicholas allegedly broke down and confessed. According to court documents, he told investigators that he and his mother had gotten into an argument that night and that he struck her in the throat. The blow caused her to fall backward, hitting her head on a metal bed frame. Nicholas reportedly told police that afterward he panicked, placing her body in a wooden box and later burning it in the backyard fire pit the following morning. Indiana State Police say the Vermilion County Coroner's Office is still working to officially identify the remains, a process that could take several weeks. However, investigators strongly believe the remains belong to Cheryl. Nicholas Yates made his first court appearance earlier this week and has been charged with murder. He is currently being held without bond and is scheduled to return to court for a jury trial in February of next year. What began as a son's plea for help to find his missing mother has instead turned into a horrifying case of violence and betrayal inside a family home, one that's left an entire community shocked and grieving. We will continue to monitor this story for you, and we will bring you any further updates as we receive them. Thanks for watching the weekly True Crime News Mama, your source for weekly true crime news and updates. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next case update. Drop your